This part of the Hidden Machine series, every episode explores one mechanism the brain uses below your awareness that is quietly ruining your life. This is episode 4. I want to start with something personal. For years I called myself lazy every time I sat down to do something important and found myself doing anything else instead. Cleaning something that did not need to clean. Check something that don't need to check. Making coffee I did not need. I told myself that the same thing. You are lazy, you lack discipline. You just need to try harder. And every time I tried harder, it worked for a day, maybe 2. And then the same pattern came back. It took me a long time to understand why the diagnosis was wrong. And when the diagnosis is wrong, every solution you try is solving the wrong problem. Here is the theory the productivity industry is selling. You procrastinate because you lack discipline. You need better system. You need eat the frog. You need Pomodoro timer. You need morning routine. There is an entire ecosystem worth billions of dollars built on this single theory, and procrastination mostly continues because the theory is wrong. Procrastination is not a time management problem, it's an emotional regulation problem. The frog, the timer, the morning routine, none of them address the actual mechanism, which is why none of them reliably work in the long time. You buy the system, use it for 2 weeks, the procrastination comes back. You blame yourself. You buy another system. The industry depends on that loop. When we avoid a task, we are not making our schedule badly, we are making a feeling. The task generates something uncomfortable, anxiety, self-doubt, the quiet fear that when you finally sit down and do it, the result will not be good enough. And the brain, which was built to move toward comfort and away from discomfort, start offering alternatives. Check the phone, make coffee, do easiest thing on the list. Each alternative briefly reduces the discomfort. The relief is small, but it's real, and real relief is a reward. Behaviours repeat. This is the trap. Every time we avoid the task, we feel almost of relief. The relief trains the brain to avoid the task. Again next time, and then the next, come back. Which add guilt and less time, which make it generate more discomfort, which make avoidance more appealing. The avoidance make the system more aversive, which make avoidance more likely, which make the task more aversive again. This is not a character flaw, this is an operant conditioning. We train ourselves into this on a small relief at a time, over years. We all have things we do immediately without resistance, and we all have things we carry for weeks that sit at the back of our mind generate a low level of dread every single day. The difference between those two categories is not difficulty. The difference is what the task generated to. The report is not just a report. It is a test of whether we are competent enough. The email is not just an email. It is an exposure. The project we have not really started is not task. It's a verdict we are not ready to receive. We do not procrastinate on tasks. Procrastinate on judgments. And here's this something the productivity industry will almost never say out loud. The people who appear most productive are sometimes just very good at doing things that do not threaten them. Real output on things that matter and could fail. That is completely different question. Does that land? Because it should. Most advice on procrastination involves seeing harder on yourself. The research says that the opposite. The group of students has judged procrastinated on exam. The first group was told to be hard on themselves. The second group was told to be kind to themselves. The both groups were given the task. The hardened group themselves procrastinate more. The kind group procrastinate less. Why? Because self-criticism generates more negative emotions, and more negative emotions make the task feel more threatening. The internal voice that tells us we are lazy is not motivating us. It is loading the weapon. Being kind to ourselves about the procrastination is not letting ourselves off the hook. It is removing the emotion. Fuel that keeps the cycle running. The moment of starting is where the resistance is highest, not the middle, not the end. The start. So do not commit to the full thing. Commit to opening the document and read one sentence. Commit to put on the shoes. Once we are inside the task, resistance drops sharply. The brain recalibrates. The dread signal quits. The anticipation is always worse than the thing. Always. The goal of the tiny start is not to do a tiny amount of work, is to cross the emotion threshold. Make the starting cost almost nothing, and the avoidance has nothing to push against. Next time you catch yourself avoiding, do not add self-criticism. Name what you are feeling instead, not the behavior, the feeling. I'm avoiding this because it makes me anxious. I'm avoiding this because I'm afraid it won't be good enough. Just naming it shifts something. It moves you out of the automatic avoidance engagement with what is actually happening. Name the feeling. Make the start tiny. Drop the self-criticism. Those are the actual tools. not the time, not the frog, not the morning routine. The emotion. That is where this lives, and that is where the solution has to start. And next time, the people around us are make our decisions. Neither of us knows it, and the data on this is generally unsettling.